to you, buddy.
Alright, you're on stream.
I'm on
I'm
stream.
good to start the timer whenever you are.
Oh god, no, I'll be on the stream, no. Alright. Well, hello everybody in the stream, you lovely people. So yeah, this is Mega Man ZX Advent. It's a staple of this marathon. It's been every single marathon that Milk has ran, all 4 of them. Don't know why, honestly, but hey, you know, not gonna complain too much. I get running. So yeah, I'm ready to go whenever. Do you want to
Give me a countdown.
Okay. So I'll do 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
Gotcha.
3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Yeah. So I want to state that I did all of 2 practice runs before this. I'm so ready. So this is the X Advent. We're doing beginner Ashe. So real quick with beginner, pretty much we don't take normal insta death that are in a lot of Mega Man games. So falling into pits or falling on spikes don't kill you instantly, which lets us have a few skips for a few areas. So right now I'm in the tutorial area, so I'll be skipping a lot of cutscenes. Because we don't need tutorials, we know how to play this game. And we're coming up on the first boss. But pretty much there's 2 characters in this game. I'm playing Ashe. Ashe, the big difference between the Ashe is all of her charge moves are a little bit different than Gray's, the other characters. The big difference you'll be seeing is her, once I get for Model A. Oh, I got good RNG as well, nice. But once I get Model A, I will have it. My charge shot for that will be a ricochet shot, so I can aim in corners, be able to hit stuff higher up. Ashe, Gray's is just a blanket charge shot, like you know from all the other Mega Man games. So that was the mini boss, pretty simple and straightforward. So now we're gonna do some plot and walk around for about 30 seconds. So if you need to check Twitter or call your mom for 30 seconds because you don't want to talk to her that long, you got plenty of time. So, just more, it's pretty much just more tutorials about like how to save the game and a little plot. Not a lot of plot, just a little. So now we're gonna go get our first transformation up ahead. It's gonna be Model A, which is based off of Axel from the X series. So, and as you can guess if you play that Mega Man game ever, Axel has the ability to copy people's data. Well, that's gonna be the gist of the rest of this run, is with Model A, I can copy every boss that I go against. And I'll be able to use them throughout all the runs, which every boss gets used at least once in the run. Also, once I get Model A, I can dash, which is going to be so much nicer. Oh, and cutscene a little early. So unfortunately, skipping cutscenes is also the start button for the menu, so not the best in the world. So just doing, it's once again just tutorials about how to use Model A pretty much. But now we're going to be going to our first actual boss, Buckfire. So all bosses in this game are set up to, they have set RNG depending on your pretty much your position after they take damage. So I'm going to actually manipulate him in such a way that I get him to kind of stay in this corner as much as I can. And I'll just charge shot him. I have to be careful with that upward attack that he does there, because he actually has invincibility frames through it. But there we go, that's Buckfire. Also, I don't want to take damage if I can do so, not because of actually taking damage, but if I actually try to do a shot or attack as I take damage, it will actually buffer my input and won't send up an attack. So I have to be a little careful with that. So, you can see there on the bottom screen I actually have the transformation tab open instead of the world map. So I can just touch the bomb there to do all my transformations instead of opening the menu using the Y button. So now I have to go back to turn in the quest. So every time you beat a boss you have to go turn in the quest. And normally they just give you money, but this one actually gives you a key item called the red key card, which lets you get through all the red doors. Also, I have to skip the cutscene for more plot, but at the end of the day, we're just getting the right key card so we can go through some doors to get to the next area. So, up here is where the story starts branching. You can kind of go and do the bosses up ahead in whatever order. You just have to make sure you do all of them before you get to the next area. So we'll be going to Control Tower first to fight Rose Park, and then afterwards we'll be going to the Frozen Fields to fight Chrono Force. If you've ever watched me run this game before, you know that me and Chrono Force have a very love-hate relationship. We do not like each other very well. So taking a little unnecessary damage, but it's whatever. So now we're gonna climb Control Tower. There's actually a faster strat to doing this, but it's actually a little precise, and I'm out of practice for it completely. So I'm just not gonna do it to save some time of messing up a lot. I did try it in practice and I got it one time, which I am not satisfied with if I'm taking it into a marathon, and I did not hit down there, game. Screw you. Alright, so we got a mini boss coming up. He is a little bit more RNG, but not that bad for Ashe compared to Gray. So, as you see come down now, we have a spider boss. Well, spider boss loves to hug the top of the screen, which, as Gray, you can't hit him with. But with Ashe, thankfully, you can just ricochet off this corner right here. You can hit him all day long. There we go. Not bad fight. If the optimal idea is he comes all the way down and he does this rotating arms attack, well, you can kill him in one of those. So that's ideally what you want. Also, what's up, Jim? I see you just got into the chat. So everybody, Jim Freak is the actual good runner of this game. He has a broken 3DS capture card, a DS capture card, so he can't stream. But Jim Freak's actually the good runner. I just make it look easy, even though it is an easy game. And now, I may have messed up the RNG string here. Yeah, I did. So ideally, what I want to see when I fight Rose Park here is I can actually start my Giga Crush early, which I didn't buffer it in time, unfortunately. And he actually will just give me a great pattern of coming straight down, just moving towards me, so I can shoot him. But unfortunately, I didn't hold Giga Crush early enough coming into the door, so it wouldn't have gone off if I did the buffer input. So I had to wait a little bit to get going, which messed up the RNG string. So every boss in this game, as I said earlier, has an RNG string to it, but all of them are kind of up to the runner to see which one's faster, because there's not like a de facto this is the fastest one yet. So right here is a good example of beginner and why it's great. Just damage boost through the spikes instead of having to use Rose Park to climb those vines and being extremely slow. So the teleport takes us all the way back down to the Control Tower, which then lets us turn the mission at the save point right here. Jim, you're still better than me. So, we're going to teleport back to the beginning of the sector, so we can go over to Chrono Force to Tundra Field. So also, you'll be seeing me hold the attack button quite often while I go and jump up of walls. If you're pretty much doing any form of an attack when you're going up a wall, well, most attacks, you actually don't jump back at all from the wall jump. So you can just chain your wall jumps very quickly. Oh, I missed the input. That is unfortunate. So that's another bad thing about ice in this game, is it's very easy for it to buffer your inputs and you just fall off the edge. Dead frames are great. What can I say? I forgot to charge up my attack, so I'm just gonna shoot. I think a lot of runners, especially for this game, tend to get better at it when they put it down for a period of time, because grinding it tends to, like, it gets to you after a point. Also, you tend to get better RNG for some reason. Like, I got a good RNG on that mini boss right there. Like, all in all so far, this game hasn't given me horrible RNG yet. Besides buffering that input, which cost me some time. Ooh, got some health. And there's another instance of input getting eaten by ice. Thankfully, we're done with ice until closer to the end of the game. Thanks for the good luck round cube. So I'm actually going into this with really good health, which I really like. There is some spare health around here that I have for backup strats pretty much for Marathon, just because my luck not tends to be the best when I'm doing Marathon runs. But thankfully I'm coming in pretty good. Pretty good. So I have to destroy these generators to unlock some doors ahead of me. Which isn't too bad. So normally you can dive kick some of these, but I've actually lately found that it's just faster to do this shot, because for the dive kick you have to get a really good angle to make it actually worth the charge up. And normally you don't, because you can get hung up on small objects really easily, just because Bugfire's character model is so big. So it's just better to shoot and position yourself and shoot. And I just made an oopsie. This cost me a little time. But I'm through. Was a horrible field outside of my mistakes. Okay, so now we're gonna be at Chrono Force. So I'm gonna go for somewhat of a quick kill strat. There's two quick kill strats to do for this. The fastest one is also using your homing charge to do some damage to him. I am not good at that one at all. So I'm gonna sit here and wait for him to start his second cycle, and hopefully I'm gonna do enough damage to him in this phase. Unfortunately, I'm not going to, because I need to be unfrozen there. So ideally I can kill him before he starts his attack, as he's flying off to it. Fortunately, I got frozen and wasn't able to do enough damage to him. So pretty much you want to avoid getting this attack. He always does it at least once. Also, you really don't want this. So pretty much just speeds him up. And it's just a waste of time. So that was an unfortunate amount of RNG right there. I wasn't staying in the right place to get him not to do that. It is definitely more like a zero game. Pretty much ZX is... It pretty much is the DS version of the Zero franchise. I think there might have been a Zero game that was on DS instead of the Advance, but don't quote me on that. I only played a few of them. So we're gonna skip this save point right there. We're just gonna stack some quest turn-ins, because you actually don't need to turn the quest for this area. So I have to hit these kind of key spots right here using the 3 forms I've gotten so far. I'll have to do so again later on. It's not too bad. The Zero Collection was? Okay. Yeah, I unfortunately never got around to playing the Zero Collection. I've been highly recommended to do so though by some other Mega Man runners I know. So here's Oil Field. I actually have to be very careful with my health throughout Oil Field. Ooh, that was nice. That was lucky. Because I need to do a damage boost to skip a rope section that we normally would have to use Rose Park for. Fortunately, I went for the wrong strat there. Unfortunately, he stepped back. Sometimes you can get lucky and he'll step forward. It's ironic that these walkers, though, take less damage than the motorcycles do. Motorcycles are 3 hits, and those walkers that look like AT-ATs take 2. Oh yeah, so I have plenty of health to do this skip, and also have health for Atlas after this fight. So pretty much how they decide to bring all the models back from ZX1 is all of them pretty much got taken over by some evil replicoids. So now when we fight them, we'll get them back that way instead. You know, plot reasons pretty much. There we go. That was good RNG. If you can get that body slam, it's just one of the best things you can get him to do. So now we're about to see if I can make Gym Freak extremely mad. So there's a little bit of a trick coming up. It's about I think it's a 2 to 3 frame perfect trick in which I can hit 2 radiators and kickstart them with Rose Park's attack at once. So most of y'all are like 2 to 3 frames. That doesn't sound like a lot. This game actually runs at 60 FPS, so 2 to 3 frames is pretty small window of time to get this input in. So far, neither of my practice runs have missed it, so go with me. But we'll see if I can do it under marathon stress. So here we go. Boom! Got it in your face, Jim. And I transformed to the wrong transformation, but who cares? I got to make Jim mad again. So every time you have to do a transformation, you waste a second, unfortunately. But thankfully, I'm going in with plenty of health for Atlas, because I need to at least be able to absorb 1 shot, so I don't die. If I felt like I needed health, I could go back to the teleporter and pretty much get a safety heal. It just wastes a little bit of time, and I could be ballsy. Every time, I know, man, it's weird that I'm good at it. So here's the 1 shot I have to take, and now I have to pretty much avoid every shot afterwards. Which is going well, and I'm pretty much locked in at this point. I missed a shot, unfortunately. Oh, damn, I should have moved. I was a little scared. So unfortunately, I shot a shot when Atlas was in her invincibility frames, and yes, Atlas is actually a chick. But when she was in her invincibility frames, I ended up releasing a shot too early. So, while that is unfortunate, and it's cost me any chance of getting the PB, it happens. And hey, if that's the worst mistake of this run, I'm fine with it. Though, unfortunately, deaths do cost you a lot of time in this game. Especially for speed runs. So most bosses after we get ZX are just switch to ZX and do Z-Savers. I have a few extra strats that I build on it depending on my health, because the only downside for Z-Saber is the fact that I have to hug the body of the person I'm attacking. And so if you pretty much have really bad RNG going through a level and you're low at health, you don't want to do that. So there's a few bosses I've routed some backup strats around. But yeah, most of it is using Z-Saver from ZX, which you'll see later on for half the game, and which makes every boss extremely tedious, including the final boss. It's just so easy. The only boss that's like, I guess the longest boss of the game is Dragons right before the final boss, and that's just because he has such a huge health pool. He's not hard at all or anything. And it's also the only boss that ZX form is just awful against. Okay. Use the audio cue when I can jump down this near the end, so I just don't have to deal with avoiding all these laser shots throughout all of it. Ooh, help. So, if you've also seen ZX runs before, not ZX Advent, at ZX Advent you see them doing dash jumps a lot. So in ZX, that's a lot faster. In ZXA, while it is faster, there's a smaller frame window to actually get it to the right amount of speed that's faster than just dashing. So you'll see most runners in this game just not do it. There's a few, like Elphys, that's the god of this game, that he'll dash jump everywhere. But most of us don't. Yeah, homing shot with a charge shot is a thing. So, shooting a charge shot actually doesn't put the enemy fully into invincibility frames. So you do a homing and then you queue up a charge shot right afterwards, and I forgot to charge up Giga Crush again. That's gonna throw up the RNG seed. So you get more damage that way. Unfortunately for me, since I run on... Damn, I should not have done that Giga Crush. Since I run on actual handheld, the DS just doesn't sit well in my hands, unfortunately. So it's really hard for me to do it. I've been debating switching to the emulator to do runs on, because it sits a lot better with my hands for doing the homing attack charge shot. So that's 2 now boss strats I've messed up by not coming in with fully charged Giga Crush. At this rate, I probably shouldn't do the new Voltron quick kill, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyways. Well, new's very relative in this community. We're not that active. Oh, forgot to throw out knives. See if I can get this trick. Nope, unfortunately did too late and hit the wall. So you'll be seeing me do that a lot with every character that has a decent enough attack to attack after a wall jump, just because it shortens the back jab, the back jump. Oh my god, this is not a good city. So that was city. So up here coming up is a room with 3 people in it, and one of them's the boss for the game. Figure out which one it was. Hint, it's the guy that's not there anymore. I hope you noticed that. It goes by pretty quick. So now we've unlocked these 4 stages over here that are only reachable by teleporter. So we're gonna have a string of 4 areas and 4 new bosses, and then we'll start the last part of the game, in which we get ZX after this. Model P is very weird. So I actually have to be careful with some of my jumps in these areas. There's these monsters that will put the static charge on you that doesn't allow you to jump, and just wastes time. And there's one right up there that I tend to always hit, but thankfully this new setup I've been using helps me get around it very easily. If I jump just a smidge too high on that tree, I'll actually get hit by it and have to sit there and wait for it to go down because I can't reach the doorway with the static charge on me. And, well, that's... I have been aiming very well lately. So unfortunately I kind of messed up the jump there to skip some of the platform cycles. So now you also see why I prefer doing beginner runs over normal and everything else. It's a lot more forgiving, pretty much. See if I have the right setup. Yeah, I got it. Just a little movement optimization there that I've found. So now we got Aeolus coming up, who uses Model H from the ZX series. I probably did not say his name right at all, but I just live with it. It's gonna happen quite a bit. I'm gonna mispronounce people's names in this game. That's why I don't even try to pronounce P's. Oh, finally, I remember the RNG seed for this. So that was Aeolus. He's pretty easy once if you use that string. Because he only throws that one of his tornado abilities, and his tornado abilities actually have hitboxes, so they'll eat shots. So, seeing on that one, he doesn't ever do it again. And makes a very quick fight. So now's my favorite music in the game. and it's highway. I love the music in this area. This area is not the best, but I love the music in this area. The problem with this area is it has two mini bosses, one of which is literally just copy pasted from ZX, and the other one is just there really to waste time. They didn't really, honestly, with game design wise, they really didn't know what they wanted to put in here, I feel like. And if you play the ZX series, this is the highway from ZX. So, this boss would be a lot harder if you didn't have Atlas and can just shoot straight up. So I'll actually run these sections. There's hard-coded to happen. So ideally you want him to go to the right as many times as possible. Unfortunately, he normally doesn't do that. But anytime he hovers over a car is also great, because Atlas does have the downside of most Mega Man games. You can only have a few bullets out at a time, so the closer you are to the boss, the better it is for Atlas. But she can fire as fast as you can press it. Oh, well that was good RNG. I am getting really lucky with the health drops. I'm loving it. So, there is a little bit of a faster strat with this mini boss, but I prefer to do the Chrono Force just because it's consistent for me. So I'm gonna go Chrono Force, freeze time, which makes the cycles longer on him, and I'm just gonna switch to Atlas and just kill him. There we go. Go down here, switch back to A, because I have to do that anyways. Yeah, no. It's almost like it's cheating a little bit when you get a shoot up in a Mega Man game. So now we got Thetis, who uses Model L? Yeah, Model L from ZX. He's a little bitch. He's a little bitch. I don't know if there's a language I'm not supposed to be using on the stream, but he's a bitch. But thankfully, it was actually a good fight, and the only downside for him is since he floats, he actually doesn't start his death cutscene until he touches the ground, and so that gets you quite often. Sometimes you'll pause expecting the cutscene, and he's not ready in the trigger zone yet. Also, get ready to hear his horrible voice acting for the rest of the run, because he's actually a really good form to use, unlike in ZX. So you'll see me a lot transforming before cutscenes if I can do so, back to A, because it takes longer to transform into a cutscene than it does to transform normally. As long as, oh well, it's not informative at all, except I'm mad, but you know, whatever, cool. Just don't get us banned. That's not a problem. I'm not that offensive. At least I hope. So this is Junkyard. Junkyard is... It's supposed to be their maze of the game, and it's actually one of the longest stages. So we'll use P through half of it, and then we'll use H through the rest of it. You'll see why. This is actually one of the stages that shows the biggest difference between Ashe and Gray, because later on we're going to use Model H to do a big skip, but it's actually a lot better on Gray than it is Ashe, because Gray's charge attack works a lot differently. It kind of goes out at a better angle, so you can actually skip a room completely in it. Fortunately, we can't do that with Ashe, who is the superior character. Oh, go through the door, buddy. So if you pick the wrong door there, you actually get sent all the way back to the beginning. It's not the best in the world. So after this room, I'm going to be switching over to H. Because most of the puzzles in this room deal with moving blocks to try to move them in the right locations. Well, a lot of them, if you have H already, you can just do stuff like that and just skip the section entirely. Or set it up because he has one of the fastest dashes in the game. To just go through the cycle. We'll be doing that up ahead soon, to skip going through another room. Unfortunately, we have to go through this room. If I was Gray, I wouldn't have to. So I hit the switch that's over on this side of the wall with that Typhoon that gets me into the position I want. So normally you want to hit normally you want to hit the switch back in the other room to switch it to the red blocks. They're actually more favorable to move around, but you have to switch them to the blue boxes over here. So it's better just to not do it all and just use H. A lot of this area they didn't expect you to have H yet. They expected you to come here first for some reason. They were doing another cycle, and I forgot. Oh, that's right. There's no room. Good. This is one of the few ones that has two purple doors to go through. I don't know why they did it that way. So, there's a faster strat I'm going to try to do with H here, using his sabers. There we go. So, I was a little slow because I got knocked. I didn't do enough damage before him getting into that Sonic Blast, but that's still faster than what you can normally get. Also, there you go, Jim. I finally did it in the marathon that you're watching. I think, it was either Gem Freak or Elphys that made this strat, but I'm not 100% once again. All the strats really, like, we're not super vocal about who found what. It's just kind of like, somebody will do something, we'll watch one of the runs and be like, huh, that's a neat idea. And we'll all start incorporating it, or one of us will be like, hey, you know this is faster, right? It's not like we go into our Discord and be like, hey, this is faster. Yeah, Elphys. So pretty much the top two runners of this game. Actually, wait, no. I think Jim. Wait, do you have two yet? Well, the top four of us that run this game which is me, Gem Freak, Elphys, and oh my god, I can't think of the first guy's name for the life of me. Well, of the four of us, two of us run on emulator and the other two run on DS's. And the reason why we allow emulators is the load times are very inconsistent in this game, so we go by RT in-game time. And the in-game timer is actually extremely good, even on emulator. It's very consistent. So I'm gonna take a break there just to get a better RNG seed coming up here. Oh, unfortunately did not get it, but I'm gonna wait a little bit so I don't get trolled by the Elevator. Like, doing this strat, the Elevator can kill you very easily if it decides it wants to kill you. Iki, yeah, Iki Soda. Right. So, yeah, half of us run on emulator, half of us run on DS. Me and Jim are the DS runners. So I'm going to switch to Atlas for this room, because he has a neat little thing he can do. So I can just stand under this boss and shoot up and kill it. Like, they did not intend for Atlas at all that well. Okay, menu. I need to remember to do a menu, because you can actually alter Atlas's shot trajectory. So that you'll see that on the bottom screen right now. So I altered her shot trajectory for a boss coming up. Well, a few bosses. So switch to Buckfire for this room, because he's great at wall jumping. unfortunately, this room's just not gonna go well for me, so I'm gonna switch over to H, because H can get through this room relatively easily. And the next room, he's actually really good at navigating as well. There we go. Now we got the rhythm again. So now we got Queen. It's Queen Bree, not B. People. I'm pretty sure. We'll see when the name comes up again. But thankfully, Giga Crush can hit her when she even has her ball form. But normally, you're supposed to do what I'm doing now. You shoot the ball, her abdomen, destroy it, and then just kind of shoot up at her. If you don't have Atlas for this fight, it's actually very stupid. And that was good RNG. So sometimes she can just outright decide after you break her abdomen to move once, then leave. And then she comes back with a new abdomen again. Thankfully, she decided to stay around for just long enough that I was able to kill her. And yes, we get to turn into this monstrosity, but we barely use it, because it's not a good form at all. So that's one of like 4 times that we're gonna use Queen Bree. Or B, whatever it is. I don't care. I seriously don't care. Yeah, that was really good RNG. Like, normally when you run the game, she'll leave at least once. Yeah, never hint to everybody that's looking at chat, don't use Rose Park ever, he's trash. He's just utter trash. Except for when you have to, that is. Which you do have to in certain places. Wrong transformation. Unfortunately. So another set of elemental keys I'll have to do. So now we're going to be heading towards getting ZX now. Which is actually a really fun boss fight that I've actually redone a little bit, so take notes, Jim. Unfortunately, this area is just kind of poopy. I like saying poopy sometimes. It's literally because of these spiders that come down from the ceiling. With a bad vision, they're actually very hard to see. You tend to take a lot of unnecessary damage in this game. In this area. So we're going to switch to A because we're right up ahead of ZX. So hopefully I'm going to be able to get the strat right. If I do it right, he's going to stay on the right wall for most of this fight. There, that was a really good ZX fight. Like, oh, I'm going in with great health into the second area. That was good. So, one of the few times we'll switch to human for something. And now we start the onslaught that is the ZX form. So, killed those hoping to get some health. So now we're gonna go down this long corridor. And we're gonna find a very familiar enemy from pretty much the whole Mega Man Z series. Zero, ZX, probably even an X. The Bulldozer. So, first showing of the Z-Saber. Now we're going to switch to Atlas to shoot its back. Because while there's 2 strats here, you can either outrun it, which isn't the most fun thing in the world, or you can just damage boost behind it and kill it with Atlas, which is what I prefer to do. Because either way, play, you have to wait for it to die one way or another. You can't just keep going. And we also use Atlas for the mini boss up ahead. So there we go. So we got the new and improved Spider mini boss coming up. But now since we have Atlas, we just stand under and shoot up. Great mini boss right here, folks. Just great quality, just amazing mini boss. So, got some plot to skip. And so now we've been given the green card, which lets us unlock green doors from now on. So we have 3 more bosses, and then we'll hit the end game. So, gotta turn the quest. Oh wait, oh, whoa, 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 buddy. Whoa, buddy. I was supposed to teleport there. Okay, I had a little brain fart. No, I don't want to save either. Yes, yeah, Luffy is correct. Yeah, there's things I like more about some of the models in ZXA, but there's things I miss as well. But I do like the fact that pretty much all the models are viable. Anyway, so up here is the twins. They actually have a name. I'm not going to pronounce it. So I'm going to go for a quick kill with them. And I actually have a little bit of a different setup now. There we go. And that was the twins. So they both actually have their own HP bars. So if you set up a quick kill just right, like that, you literally kill them in a Z-Saber spin into a ground Z-Saber. Can't get more perfect than that. So about to switch Thetis, because Thetis actually can traverse this area very well, because there's these waterfalls you see, he can actually swim in. Because Thetis is a boss. So I'm going to sit right here to farm some health, just because it would be nice to have. Unfortunately, didn't get any drops. So, there's quite a few damage boosts in this area, so I need a decent amount of health going through it. Besides, having some health for the mini-boss here is very nice, because it's our boar boss, as well I call him tree boss, that we also call him by. He can give you really bad RNG and do a he can sneak in some damage as well if you're not careful. So unfortunately, these guys are actually fully armored until they do their shot. So that's the unfortunate side to things. I'm gonna actually hit this health. If I go too far off the screen, he'll actually reset. So I got. So I'm still going in with decent enough health. It's because the twins are technically like the ninjas, that's why. Even though we fight them extremely early. And once again, it's also supposed to be another maze. So here is Arborius or something. I call him Tree Boss. I am not good at dodging that roots today. And he knows at this point. There we go. So the best RNG he can give you is he has one attack in which he just opens his mouth and straight out starts shooting at you. That lasts long enough that you can kill him first try. Unfortunately, I got the second best pattern. Well, I guess the second pattern. Which, if you don't get caught by the tentacles, unfortunately I did. It's actually pretty quick. And the worst one is he just shoots leaves up and he leaves himself invincible. And it wastes so much time. You never want to see leaves. So now we're going to my favorite boss in the game, and cue this one. We're going to Hedgehog. He's a fucking cutie. So getting hit by the gas vents is actually less damage than getting hit by the ball guy. Oh, it's not good. So this place is very notorious for just not dropping health at all. And since switching forms takes up too much time, there's no point in switching to cut some of the items to get health drops out of. So unfortunately, I have to go through most of this level, hoping that either I don't get a dodge attacks like that, or I can get a health drop. And I got really lucky with this room. I should have taken damage. But we're going in with good HP. But thankfully the strat I made for Headshock now, while our old strat used to get us killed pretty easily, I actually made a new one for myself. It's a tiny bit slower, but man, it's so much more consistent. Like, you can go in with any amount of health, even 1 bar, and you're gonna be just fine. So normally we don't want to Giga Crush anymore, we want to go into a Z-Saber, but I'm gonna Giga Crush in this room. Because there's an RNG seed that's pretty good for Headshock. So we're gonna Giga Crush, he's gonna shock twice, I'm gonna switch over, he's gonna come over here, which puts me in Z-Saber range. He's gonna do it again, and he's dead. Love that RNG seed, it's great. Normally, what most of the runners do, unless I've missed something lately, they just switch straight to ZX and do the Z-Saber spin since it does the most damage in the game. But I really prefer that setup. It's so much more consistent. It might be like a few seconds slower, not even that, maybe like 2 or 3 seconds slower than getting an optimal fight. But it's just, like I said, consistent. And honestly, right now with this game, consistency is what you need the most. So we gotta be a cute little hedgehog for a bit. Oh yeah, did you like that, Jim? I love that setup. So now we're gonna go to my favorite area to go through, but my least favorite boss to fight, which is the Biolabs. Now I say that it's my favorite place to run through. So Biolabs is extremely, and I mean extremely optimized. But like, there's enough going on to it that getting a perfect run through is extremely difficult. And man, it's just when you can get the ideal setup and everything, which I've already messed up now. Oh, it's a great feeling. So ideally, you want to try to kill stuff before it gets on screen, which the mouses are the hardest ones because they sit just low enough you can't shoot them, but you can hit them when they're falling to the ground if you aim right. So far this has been not okay. It's starting to become a little sloppy, but still not a bad first area for Biolab. So Biolab only has 3 sections, but they're very long sections. So here we go with some B action, some of that hot B action for you nerds. Also, we're about to see the return of Thetis, because everybody loves hearing his great voice actor. It's okay to get hit by one of those, but if I get hit by any more, it really slows me down. Oh, that was not good. So, the last time we see Headshock, unfortunately, now I control him. We'll have one more fight with him. As is Mega Man tradition of having the refights. That was sexy, man. I know it just looked like some jumping, but all that lining up to the way it was, that was nice. So here we go with the biggest boss in the game. Well, second biggest. This is the biggest one you can turn into. Probably for us. I hate him so much. So we're purposely gonna damage boost here. So we have. Oh, that was. So this is not going well. I almost died, unfortunately. So the ideal strat is, when I get that first damage boost, it doesn't actually throw me back up on the ice. It puts me down in the water, and then I just do a Z-Saber spin. But unfortunately, since it threw me back on the ice, it gave him long enough to open his jaw again, which he is completely invincible from that side of his body. So causing the fight to be a little slow. But hey, at the end of the day, it's better than dying. And the one time we transformed the Bifrost, which is one too many. So now we're going to be starting the in-game coming up. We'll just have to go turn this quest, have a quick cutscene about these cards that we've gotten so far. And then we'll be able to activate the teleport now. Well, not a cutscene, but there, right here, there is. But now we'll be able to activate this cutscene and go to Undersea Volcano, which is a very fun area. There is a very, very optimal movement path to take. I don't take it. Besides, I haven't practiced it a lot. It's extremely difficult, which is why, don't practice it, can't do it. So I'll be taking a different path that's a tiny bit. It is slower, but honestly, not by a lot. So here we go. We got Chrono Force again. I pick him for this area because the top half of his body is actually invincible. It can actually reflect stuff back towards people. So it makes me... I don't have to worry about these enemies that are coming from the sky and the flying rocks from the bottom. The optimal approach to this is taking Buckfire through this area, but his weakness is actually ice, and if he gets frozen, he stays frozen longer than anybody else in the game. So it's very punishing if you mess up his movement in that area, so a lot of us don't really do it. Well, go on and start riding, Jim. I'm not taking right side. I'm taking left side. One day I'll learn right side, though. One day. That's not today. So you need health in this area, like a lot. Unfortunately, I'm getting none of it. So there is an energy pack over here. I'm gonna go slice it. Get some health from it. So I'm gonna switch back to A for this section. I mean, you're not wrong, Jim. So I'm gonna damage boost a lot through this area. Or if I get lucky, I'll take the least amount of damage in the game, which is from these fly things. Okay, I need to kill some stuff. Make sure I get some health drops. There we go. That's good. So I learned that charge shot there actually is an instant down on the gate, which is very nice. So now, if you played ZX before, you remember Prometheus and Pandora. Well, it's literally the fight from that game over again. Like, a perfect rehash, too. Oh, that's so... It's hard to get damage on that first phase of him. Oh god, I got the bad setup. So ideally you wanted this to come second. There we go. So unfortunately I got an extra phase out of them, which is not good. That's kind of a waste of time. So now we're going to Ouroboros, the last stage, in which we also have the boss rush coming up. And I did not sit in a good position here. So now we got Ouroboros. My health is actually also a little iffy, so I'm going to try to farm a little bit extra. Hopefully I can get some... Oh, there we go. Nice. Nice. Now I can just run through. I can take some damage, but I can't take too much. This is also another reason why I don't run the game on normal, is this area gets... They do a lot of spikes, and having instant death on spikes is not great for this. Especially with my chances of hitting spikes. So now we start all the boss refights. Unfortunately, we don't do any of the models, we only do the replicoids. But there's some neat strat differences. Like, for the longest time, nobody else in the community except for me did this strat. I don't know why. I don't know why people didn't think of this. So when you're in the water and you're floating as Thetis, you can just spin your saber by hitting it over and over again. Unfortunately, I got the one worst move you can possibly do. But nobody thought about doing this. Like, boom, easy, done. I don't have to worry anymore. I don't have to place shots or anything. So that's the only fight out of all of this that we don't use ZX in. The rest of them will use ZX. Start the elevator, switch over to ZX. So thankfully all these boss fights also have RNG that's easy to manipulate for them. So I'm going to start Buckfire by doing this upward saber slash. Oh wow, what? Okay, never mind. I stand corrected. Buckfire hates me, obviously. So I think it's probably because I held back and stuff forward. But if you do an up saber there, sometimes he'll go straight into a kick, in which then you can just go into a Z saber span and kill him pretty quickly. It's faster if you get the optimal setup for him. There's a lot of stuff in this game. It's pretty much there is the faster stuff, but the conditions have to be right to have the faster. And most of the time in this game, those conditions don't happen. It's pretty rare. So unless you want to reset like crazy on fights, you just come up with something else. Also, it pays off that Thetis can move faster underwater than ZX by a lot. This Rose Park is not going well, especially since he's deciding he's gonna stay up top. There we go. So I'm gonna get some extra health here to get up to full. Because up next is everybody's favorite bite for us, because hopefully I can get the setup right this time, instead of getting knocked right back on the ice. Okay, good enough. Sometimes he doesn't jump and he shoots out a wheel in front of him. If you get that, you just Z-saber him at the end of it, you're good. But he decided to jump, so I had to improvise a little bit. So, with coming up is B, so she's the only one that I might have to improv with Model A. Pretty much, I'm gonna try to kill her with ZX if I can, but if she decides to jump back up top, go back up top and replace her abdomen, it'll waste time trying to kill it again. So I will switch to A and kick a crusher and normally kill her using that. There we go. But thankfully, if I didn't miss that, our Z-Saber would be a little faster. But hey. Yo, Zoden, thanks for the raid, bud. So I've been going through this boss rush actually very well. I'm taking very few hits, which is rare for me. So hey, remember that quick kill that I did? We're about to possibly do it again. Unfortunately, I ended up lost my invincibility frames. But quick enough. So pretty much, you want optimally, you have your invincibility frame through the whole Z-Saber, and then once you hit the ground, you can get another attack in very quickly before your invincibility frames die. Unfortunately, I timed it too early. And last but not least is everybody's favorite, Hedgehog. We have to end on the most adorable of them all. Ooh, I almost died there, actually. If he actually moved forward a little faster and hit me in that, I would have died. Thankfully, I get some health drops right here. So now we hit my nightmare of a area next, and then we'll hit the final boss. Did not trust that at all. Okay, grab that health. Don't like where I am right now. So I'm gonna do safety strats here, because I'm a pussy. So I need to wait for my energy to recharge up a little bit before I go in. That should be good. So, first of the final bosses, we got Dragon. He is the heart of the final bosses. So we're gonna switch Chrono Force, charge up. We're gonna time stop, or slow down. Then we're gonna switch to Atlas. I'm gonna go in. My wrist does not like this. Damn. If I got it back in sooner, I possibly could have killed him. Alright. So that was Dragon. So now we're gonna have the final boss, which is Model W. Which is Wily's soul. Story's a little stupid. But he's pretty simple. We're gonna Giga Crush him and Z-Saber him. Oh, well, if you actually get Z-Crush off, Giga Crush off. So now I'm just gonna jump forward. Yeah, that's the final boss, people. Like, seriously. That's how easy. So we're coming up on time soon. So gotta get through some cutscenes. And time. So, for this game, we actually do in-game time, because load times are not the best thing in the world, so we'll see what I got. Wow, that's a lot better than I thought. That is a marathon PB. You're welcome, Milk.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, like, I did not expect a 50, sub hour, especially since I died on Atlas, so that poses, maybe I should do actual attempts at this run now, my PB.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Milk for once again having this great game in his amazing marathon. And yeah, if you like what you see, you can follow my channel, but don't stream super often, because work kind of gets in the way. But I do stream when I can, and it's always enjoyable. So, once again, thank you Milk, and